Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. I hope you're doing all right. It is deadline day, and I'm joined by Joe to my left. We've also got Dave to my right. We are going to be discussing what we're doing. We're carrying on the similar trend to what we had earlier. We're just going to carry on from 6:30 till now. There's not much news. I'm not going to lie to you. There
No.
is, but what we but what we will do is we'll do a recap of all of the transfer window as well with the two lads on the screen. Obviously, we've heard from Hippie and we've also heard from Jay a little bit earlier. I've got a couple of clips from them to play as well. You can see your live chat underneath us. Any questions for any one of us, please fire away. Above Joe's head, you can see the timer. That is when the transfer deadline day closes, so it's not long. You're talking a matter of, 24, 25 minutes, so not long at all. But yeah, we'll get going. So what we'll do, smash a like as well. We'll carry on from where we were left off, where we had Jay on earlier. Sorry. He spoke a lot of good stuff about the transfers and a lot of sense as well. So
He was brilliant.
He's got some praise as well. He's got some praise in our WhatsApp as well. So it was absolutely fantastic. I
want to put it in such a way you can understand it.
Yeah, because you do, don't you? When you get American on, you roll your eyes a little bit, don't you? And it's like, oh, here we're going. It's the stereotype. But he talks a lot of sense.
He's a great talker. Great talker he is. He's honestly, the knowledge that man's got is amazing.
Even the thickest people could understand.
Yeah.
So he didn't overwhelm you with long words and bits of this, that, and the other. It was just understandable. Must be because I understood it.
A couple of comments. MT says so much for wanting a number one, looking like the Saudis are going to be bored with us. We'll come to that. I'm going to ask the lads a question on that later about PIF. And Ray's gone on to say, Ray, I do have to ask you, why do you have like a weird name if you call Ray? I didn't get that in the chat. I don't get that. Hi Lee, how are you? Blame down, I think that says Eels and Paul Mitchell on the transfers. Yes, we will come to that as well. And how are you? Resign Amanda and my dad back in Newcastle. I think that did affect us. I will come to that. But as I say, we'll just wrap through the little bit of news. There's not much, as I say. We'll start with these.
Done. News is done. That's it. Thanks. Bye, guys. Take care.
Thanks for watching. We just cut straight. We're not going to be live for hours and hours. We're just going to cut straight to the chase. Baz says those long words are a problem. Late in the day, Everton, apparently, this is according to The Guardian, came in very late for Miggy Almiron. Dave, I'm going to come to you with this. Do you reckon it's got any truth in this?
No.
Well, explain a little bit in depth. Go on.
Well, it came out, didn't it? That it came out, what was it, the cup game, wasn't it? That Fulham were showing interest in him.
Aye.
But then it got rubbish enough straight away, didn't it? They said there was interest, but there was no offer.
Well, Everton have seemed to be just getting loans and very cheap deals in the money. I mean, they don't have loads of money, but as much, and I said to this earlier as well, Dave, is that as much as we don't really want Miggy here, you've got to have a replacement for him, surely.
Yeah, but I said to you before when I was up, do we bring somebody in? But we need to make room first.
Well, we've got to have quality as well. We can't just bring like for like.
Yeah. But you've still got to make room for them, and I can't find how we find it very difficult to sell people on or move people on.
That was a question I was going to ask you later, but you've jumped straight to it as well. Joe, how are you? What are you eating? Because you're having a takeaway here. You've got to let the audience know what you're munching. Yeah,
I know, but he's chunky curry sauce.
Like, come dine with me.
My deadline sort of thing was meant to be having a pizza and some curry and chips. The curry and chips are I'm giving the curry and chips a 7. Right, but the pizza. You're ready for this, lads and lasses? This is the best thing you're going to see on transfer deadline day on Newcastle United. I tell you right,
take much, does it?
Bosh.
It doesn't take much, does it?
Yeah, not for me. Not for me.
Deadline day and you're flogging a pizza.
It literally, I apologise to everyone that I'm eating on stream, right? This is not generally my thing. I'm not one of these Twitch guys, but literally me order arrived 15 minutes late. Right at the last minute, so I literally, as Lee was about to hit play, I was like, Lee, I need to go get me.
It did actually, to be fair, it did turn up. Just stick yourself on mute. Oh, there's Hippie in there as well in the chat. Nice to see Hippie. He was on my first show. I had a sleep in. Did we sign anyone? So it must be 7:40 a.m. in Australia now. That's how long ago Hippie was on. Earlier on.
He was on the afternoon, wasn't he?
Yeah, but obviously they're 9 hours in front.
Yeah, he's 31 degrees in the winter.
I know. And we're looking to get 22 here.
Yeah, it's pissing down with rain out there. It's like,
I know. But what was I saying? yeah, letting people go. I was going to bring this up later, but is that a key thing as well, Joe, that we've still got the likes of Jamal Lewis, Matty Target, even Martin Dubravka, even to some extent even Miguel Miron. If you can't shift the players on loan, there's still players that are collecting wages, and a lot of them may not even want to go. Like we're seeing it last January. Miggy was meant to go to Al Shabab, and he didn't want to go, and it's difficult to shift players, isn't it?
Like I said to you before coming on here, I'm probably going to seem the most negative I've ever seemed on the channel, right? But for me, it's annoying us so much. Eh?
I haven't started.
Aye, true. It's annoying me so much, right? Because last season we realised our depth was an issue. And now you look at right now, and I would say our depth is okay. It is. We've got, when you talk about just depth without going into the skill level of it, we've got a good bit of depth right now. However, as soon as you start dropping into like second and third choice players, there's a massive drop off on skill. Yeah. I get it. Our starting 11 is absolutely amazing right now. Yes, on its best day fit, it's a Champions League squad. Truly is. Shoot us down if you want to. However, as soon as you start bringing players on, and no disrespect to the lads, they're all good players in that, you know, they do a job, but they're not at the quality where we need to be competing for trophies, to be competing for high end. So yes, keeping them, it's good because people are going to get injured, but you know, if we have a season like last season and we have 6-7 injuries knocking off one after the other, who we got to replace them? League One and Championship worthy players, which again, no disrespect to any of the lads, but at the end of the day, we want to be up there. What's going on?
Go on, Dave.
I wouldn't put Harvey Barnes as a Championship player. Like, I think he's the only one that will come on that gives us that little bit of quality.
I think we've got like probably 14, 15 players that are fine. I think after that, it's like, say if you lose your
when they're all fit. I mean, when they're all fit, yes.
Yeah.
At the moment, we don't.
Are you really going to keep all your squad fit? You know, are you?
No.
Even though Newcastle are not playing Champions League and European football, even if you look just right now, you've still got two centre backs out. You've got Lewis Smiley still out. You've got Callum Wilson, who's a goal scorer, out. There's for 4 or 5 straight away. Willock's going to miss short term, which is good news, by the way. Joe Willock, that's good news. It's not a serious injury.
One thing it shows is Shah goes missing for 3 games and the club goes in panic. Shah goes missing for 3 games through suspension, and all of a sudden we're in a panic buy to try and buy a centre-back that we've needed for a long time anyway.
I am going to come to the Gay one a little bit later on the show, so we can see your comments. Gordon's not very happy, put it politely. I'm not reading out word for word, but he's not happy put it that way. Michael Smart says he's good that he hasn't signed anybody, and I can't say the name. Sorry, it just went up. Paul Mitchell is elite at his job and has signed players at other clubs. Why can't he? Newcastle, Eddie's stubbornness has cost us a transfer window. I love Eddie, but this is what I think. I want
to. Can I jump in there a moment? I want to play devil's advocate a bit on the whole Paul Mitchell, Darren Eales, Eddie Howe thing. We want to blame Darren Eales. We want to blame Eddie Howe. We want to blame Paul Mitchell, right? Whatever, you can go about. One person I think is, and Jay said it brilliant earlier about how Paul Mitchell is ultimately the one who was responsible, but he's just stepped into the role. He can't just hit the ground running. He can't. No. So in a sense, Paul Mitchell gets taken out of the blame game, if you would. I don't like that whole thing. You take Paul Mitchell out a little bit. However, when it comes to Eddie Howe and Darren Eales, now they've been there for a while. Maybe Eddie, with this whole, remember his comment about there's a small pool of players, and it's like, I think majority of fans went, hold on a minute, Eddie. You're talking your arse there a bit there, aren't you, mate? How? There's a bigger pool of players we can look at. Christ, every week we've been named, every day we've been naming players in the group chats and stuff like that, you know? So there's got to be some blame for the ambition of what players will want to come in towards Eddie Howe if you're going to play the blame game. And for Darren Eales, it's his position to be out there, and he's been with for long enough now. What are you doing, Darren? What's going on? We need better. Better. So I don't put much, I don't really blame anyone as such. I'm just gutted that we haven't done enough. I blame the whole club. It's simple as that. Top and bottom, I blame the whole club.
Sure. Mitchell's got to start getting a little bit, because on the other hand is, look at Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth has just gone into Manchester United job, and look what signings they've made. So to say that you've only just come in the club and the blah blah blah, no, I don't get that. If he'd been a brand new sporting director and he's never done the job before, then maybe yes. But he's come from Spurs, he's come from Southampton, he's come from Monaco. He knows the job. So to say that he hasn't got not as much blame, I don't get that. Because
I think he's got enough time in the role. He's been in since.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a 2.5 months
and clean them out. He's only bought a Sula.
See, it's a mad one for me. It all together. I think all of them together, they're meant to be a team who are working together to bring all these different people in. To be at least chasing multiple people, and pretty much what we've done. Signed 2 goalkeepers. The world beater Osler.
We will come. I will keep that one side because we will come to that later. Do keep your commenting as well. Bob's gone out and say, I hope we're wrong, but all the teams around us have strengthened. That's a key thing. I think he is right there. We have signed the same 8th place finish for us and Gordon. He's at a go next summer. God, that is negative. Who signed the 2 goalkeepers and didn't sell Dubravka? That's us. None of these targets are fit the kind of player Mitchell signs. The targets have been knocked back. True, but there should be alternatives. If you're going for Gay here, we'll come to that later. I don't want to just get on it here, but I want to come on to stay on these transfers at the moment. It did come out. Obviously, we talked about Alanga a little bit earlier on in the 2 shows earlier, but it come out that there was, and Dave, you watched at me this actually, about the possible swap deal involving it was Almiron.
Was it Miggy? Was it?
It was Miggy. Come out. I think the Shields Gazette came out and said it was Miggy plus cash would have done that deal.
Yes. I think Miggy's ran his legs. I think Miggy needs to move, I think, for himself as well as us. I think he's ran his day. Like I said before, remember when we did the last word at the Cellar Cup? Everybody loves Miggy. No, we like him because of what he is. But he's not going to take us forward, is he? He hasn't got what to take us forward. If you look at both wings, we've got Anthony Gordon on the left. What was it, 10 goals last season, 10, 11 goals last season, and how many assists?
I think it's a set in stone that I don't say it's panic buying, but it's like Alanga's he is slightly better than Murphy. Yes. But he's inconsistent, and it's not a huge upgrade. It's how much was actually splashed. Dale's in the comments. Hello, Dale, who goes to our home games, the women and some away ones as well. Nice to see you, Dale. But in terms of Alanga, look, we don't know. And also,
thing, as I said to you in WhatsApp League, the worrying thing about Alanga was we showed, like in poker, we showed our hand a little bit too early.
When everyone knows we've got money.
Exactly, not the Forest know that we're in a panic now because we need to buy somebody. So we're in a panic to start with, so the cards are in their hands. Plus, they know we've got up to 70 million to spend. So, of course, they're not going to let them go for 35 million. It's not going to happen at all in any way, shape or form. If we'd got in for Alanga earlier on in the window, we might have gotten him for that. But once you show that you're getting desperate because the window's shutting and you've got 70 million in your back pocket, of course they're going to hold out for a bigger deal. Yeah. Of course they are.
It is a question about free agents. I don't think, well, he could today, but I think you've got to name the 25-man squad, haven't you? Literally.
Yeah, you have to today because they've got to be registered, haven't they?
Yeah, it's literally the next day. But if you sign anybody after 12 p.m, they can't play this weekend. But that was an interesting one with Alanga. Joe White. Joe's on screen there. Let's just hide Joe. There you go. There he is. Joe White, we're expecting him to move on loan. There's nothing from the club yet. Now, deals still can still happen after 11 p.m. as long as the deal sheet is already in. So the basic means that the transfer is almost done. So we're probably expecting that. I believe he signed a contract as well. So he looks like he's going to head out to MK Dons. Obviously, the club think very highly of him. There isn't much point in playing in 21 football now. He's gone out on his head loans. So good luck to Joe White. We are expecting that one. This one, we didn't shift out, Dave. We will come to Ryan Fraser in a minute, but we've still got Isaac Hayden on the books, who, according to the Chronicle, said that a move to QPR collapsed today, and I still believe he still has 2 years left on his deal, and he's on big wages.
Deal, though, didn't he, with Pardew?
Aye. So
like a seven-year deal or something with Pardew?
I don't think it was 7 years. I think it was 5.5. I think he signed, but
that's the longest 5 year I've done.
It's just we've had him on the channel. Sam and Johnny had him on the channel, and he spoke really well. He went when he went on loan.
I liked Isaac Hayden. Remember we had that year when he was on about moving to London because of the illness of his family and
his daughter. Yeah,
and he had the best season ever because he just played, didn't he? I used to like Isaac Hayden. I'm not saying now that he's fit in the team now. I feel from why he didn't give him a chance.
I just think Eddie Howe doesn't rate him. He's done nothing wrong. Like Ryan Fraser has seemed to be a bit of a demon. Do you know what I mean? But he's not.
He's got history with Fraser, hasn't he?
Yeah, we'll come to him in a minute. But Isaac Hayden, unfortunately, doesn't look like he's getting a move unless it goes past 11 p.m. As I say, at the deal sheet. But he's it's hard worrying because he's got big wages and he can, maybe do a job. But it's a shame with Hayden. Like, we'll come to your comments before we move on to the next little bit as well. If Kowal, good shout, yeah. Kowal doesn't get a loan. We are stuck with him. We are, but he doesn't have to be registered because he's under the under 21.
Under 21.
Under 21 player, yeah. Same as Trevor and Sanusi. The under 21s played tonight, which give you a real eye opener. Who's basically not going because Alex Murphy played in that one as well.
Just wanted to mention, is Alex Murphy getting kept because of the centre back position?
I think so. The club I mentioned earlier, the club have knocked back, and that was according to the Eye newspaper.
If we'd signed Gahey, do you think Alex would have gone on loan?
Aye, I do. I think it would have happened. I think he's now at that age now. He needs to start playing a bit of football because he's proved that he's capable. He's capable of the word I would use.
He got it run last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a few subs, didn't he?
Yeah.
PAF are spending all their kitty on Al Hilal FFS. It's embarrassing. Well, we'll come to that in a minute. That's going to be towards later. If we are to believe Keith Downey, Eddie Howe's lack of transfer window and flexibility is to blame for this utter failure. And Andrew's gone on to say it looks like Eddie's been set up for the bullet. If he wanted Gahey and nothing else, that's on him. That's true. Yeah, if it was, but surely he's a modern manager. He'll know he'll have second and third choices. And
the only thing with the Gahey thing was we took 26 days.
I want to come to that a little bit later. I do want to come to that. I
think it would have been better just to move on after doing the second offer. I tell you what buzzed me was when Paris came on the telly on Sky Sports for that interview. As soon as he comes out with that interview saying he wants world class money for Gahey, we walk. That's to me saying he doesn't want rid of him. Whatever money we put on the table, he's not going to take it. So why didn't we walk then?
I don't know. We will touch upon the Gahey. Don't worry. I'll let you have your rant and rave, Dave. Don't worry.
Get in!
At the same time, it has just come out that Crystal Palace have officially signed Eddie Nketiah on a 5-year deal from Arsenal for a fee that could rise to 30 million. And you just think they've had over backwards, haven't they? Really,
they've signed Lacroix and they've signed Shalaban loan as well, haven't they? So they've got plenty.
They've done us over, really. But it is what it is, guy. Fair enough.
It comes to a point where Southampton have paid 100 million on transfers this window.
Yeah.
Southampton spent 100 million on transfers this window.
Speaking of Southampton, now it's actually, this is interesting. It might come out later, but Ryan Fraser has agreed, or Ryan Fraser has asked the club, or whichever way it is, he's actually had his contract terminated by Newcastle, and then he's joined Southampton on a 2-year deal. It's not a loan. So that's interesting. You think there was a bit of a standoff there, Dave?
Yeah, there had to be, though, wasn't there? I mean, what was it before? A couple of weeks ago, Southampton weren't interested in taking him back. The words coming out of Southampton was they weren't looking at him again. They were ready to walk away from it. So why now have they decided now to do it? Plus, I think it's in our best interest to let him go. It's like I said before, there's history between him and Eddie Howe anyway. There was a Bournemouth one there.
Yeah, there was. Obviously, he's out of contract. If you remember, COVID hit and all the free agents were signing like a 5-6 week contract.
Didn't he?
He refused, and then obviously next thing you know, they're both at Newcastle, and obviously we still don't know why there was a falling out. Again, that might come out now he's moved, but we'll wait and see what happened with that. But Ryan Fraser's out the door, and finally that's a bit of wages saved, so we can spend it on nothing.
Exactly. Joe's Pizza.
Maybe got it from the stack. Did you get it from the stack?
No. Adam's going to love that one. Adam Phillips mentioned the stack.
Got an Uber. The guy on the bike pedal towards the house.
Definitely didn't get it from the stack. I know the money's not going to go into another transfer, so I wasn't giving them more me cash. You know what I mean? I gave them enough last season.
And that's a good point as well, because we will talk about the gate. We're coming up the gate here one now, Dave. Under 5 minutes left, by the way. You can see next to Joe's head. Transfer window will slam shut. Players have fans have had the Adidas and have gone crazy, probably more than ever, spending on home kits, away kits, trainer gear. And then obviously they've had the stack, and the stack is rammed every day. And some fans, I'm not going to speak for all fans, of course not, but some fans will feel a little bit disappointed that they've spent the money and expect the club after Darren Neal's interview, we expect to get Europe. If you want Europe and the fans have gone crackers on Adidas, buying and putting money into the stack, I don't think Darren Neal's might be singing on Sunday, do you?
But that's where the money's gone, to pay him for singing. That was the most cheesiest thing I've ever seen. him up on the stage waving the flag and doing the chants and things. I thought that was just
Joe
the PR thing and all the rest of it, but it was absolutely terrible. So it's just
It wasn't good. It wasn't a good look for a CEO.
Do you know when you have
if you're a YouTuber,
granddad at a party and he hits the dance floor, busting some shapes and some music he's never heard before?
That's going to be.
Put your head in your hands and you go, why is he doing it? Well, that was the Darren Ailes thing.
Yeah, it was. I was a bit amused by that.
I think you can get away with it in America because he was very popular in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's going to come back and haunt him.
Do you think that's been the way in the transfer window now? He still thinks in America he's wanting the drafts.
I don't know. It isn't
like first draft.
It isn't like an NFL deadline today. I might be wrong about Carl will tell us he's the NFL bloke on our team. I thought the project was to win a trophy for the Geordies, ? Great comment. Fantastic comment. Matthew's gone and said we've absolutely been dicked in this window.
If we haven't got the money to spend, let's put it on this way. Let's say we don't have the money to spend, which we know we do. Why have we not brought loans in?
Yeah, because you could do a loan to buy, like a bit like there was all.
Why have we not looked at the loan market?
Newcastle are going to be a relegate? No, Anthony, I think that's a bit of a win. No, give our. Mark's gone on. Who is the Oliver Giraffe like? I don't know what that means. Mark said field PSR also means big signings become a bigger risk. And then we go again in January. I think you have to spend, don't you, Joe, in January now?
Yes, and this is my worry. Do you know when you were talking about Elanga before, right? So we're like, he has 30, 35 million for Elanga. Forest go, nope, we want 50 million. That's now. January is a tougher market for deals. So say we only had 70 million to spend. What happens when we go back and try and get Elanga in January and it's like, well, now you need to pay 60. Or say we're for some reason, we're going for another keeper. And people go, nah, you now need to pay 25 million. It's going to be hard, but we do need to spend in January. We need to do it. And it can't just be willy-nilly spending like Osler, like Lloyd Kelly, Vladimir. It can't be any of this. It needs to be an impact signing. Me and Andy were seeing it in the group earlier. We've just got Adidas back. Like, where's with star signing that's akin to Shearer on the steps of St. James's Park? Where's that star signing for the new Newcastle? We've been taken over. We've got the new owners. And now we've got the Adidas. It's the dream we always wanted. All we need is this big, huge star signing this season. So it's season after season after season. We need a big expenditure in January, and it needs to be someone key. It needs to be a top-end right winger who's going to come in and do a big job, or it needs to be an unbelievable centre-back who's going to come in and do a phenomenal job. If it's not that, we're wasting my time.
Do you know what I think as well? If we don't bring anybody in January, like a big bird of January, the likes of Bruno, Isaac and Gordon might start.
Where's the ambition? Yeah, where's the ambition?
Because they haven't bought. I love this project thing. They haven't bought into this project to sit in the dressing room in January and look around and think, where is it? So yes, we've kept them now, which I think is fantastic. But when it comes to January and we're in the same boat, I think it could be pushing them out. I think they could look elsewhere, thinking, where's the project I bought into? Because it's not here at the moment, is it? To be fair, it's not.
To touch down there upon what Gordon's saying as well about Gordon says we'll be okay until January, lads. Get behind the current squad. We're not in that bad of a shape, I don't think. Look, like we said earlier, we're not. Starting 11 on its fit day and a few subs on the bench, you've got a decent team. Champions League competitors, you know. I personally believe Sandro Tonali's being treated as a new signing. A massive new signing. And I'm backing him so much this season to go out there and do a phenomenal job. Almost like Bruno when he first came.
But the thing is, he's not right.
The window is closed.
It's done.
There we go. You heard the buzz there. Slammed shut. Newcastle have not had a great window, which comes on nicely. I'll keep your comments coming. Mark Gahey, Dave, you seen the picture there where Joe was chatting there before. Have we spent too long on one player?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's like I said before, as soon as Paris came out, the owner of Crystal Palace, came out with that interview on Sky, we should have walked then. We should have just rubbed our hands of it and moved on. Because the longer that went on, it made us look like idiots. You know, like it made us look desperate. It made us look idiots. And it made Crystal Palace look great. Because
from a Palace
all the headlines today is about how the manager's been on the press conference today saying how great it is to keep Gahey and everything else. Yeah, that's good for us, isn't it?
From
24 days we spent on a player that we haven't got.
It's too long, and you've got to look at alternatives, haven't you? But from a
course,
Palace
yeah.
point of view, Palace have kept on to their player because I don't think we'll ever get that value again because in January he'll only have 18 months left on his deal, and you'll be less. Palace won't get that kind of money again, so that's the thing that they'll probably look at. Is yes, they kept him, which is great for them, but that money will never be that high again.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think we've took far too long. We should have moved on. And do you know what it is? I don't even think a centre back should have been the priority.
No, right wing should have.
It should have been a right winger. It should have been someone who was like, right, I'm going to take you on. Even if you look across the Premier League for lesser clubs, someone even like a Brian Mbeumo is a massive upgrade in what we've currently got. And I'm not saying he's the finished article. He's not Nico Williams or anything like that. However, he brings you goals, assists, and it's baffling. It is baffling why.
Remember after Cup game, Lee, I messaged you and I said that on that right side, Harvey Barnes and Tino look brilliant. Maybe that's the way forward. But
he looked at that at Bournemouth, didn't he? He looked at that at Bournemouth, and he put Gordon over there, didn't he?
Yeah, then he had Tino and Harvey as well, didn't he, on the right side for a while as well. And they were brilliant. Though the interchanging, the overlapping, everything was brilliant. But we know that Eddie's loyal. He likes certain players. And that's...
Do you think there are some people put in the comments blaming Eddie? Do you think that's harsh?
No. No, I don't think it's Eddie. Eddie's been in the job long enough. He would have had first, second, third, fourth choice players. To me, he hands that list in to Mitchell, and then it's up to Mitchell and Darren Neal to take that list and try and progress on that list. To say that Eddie Howe only gave in Mark Gahey as a centre-back, and that's it, there's nobody else, no, that he wouldn't have. He would have had second, third, fourth choices.
I agree. I think it's incredibly hard to say that Howe is stubbornness. I think, yes, he might be. He might go right.
For? He wants proven he wants the best for us because of what he's done since he's been here. So why is he shitting his own nest by being stubborn?
Nah, because you want to improve it, don't you? And
yeah, of course.
I don't think the squad, as I say, the first 14, 15 players. It's not. We're not going to be in the bottom three. We're not going to be mid-table. We are going to be up there. We are going to be in around, even with a few injuries. I just hope it's not like last season where it's ridiculous because we were stretched with all the games. But this squad realistically should be finishing top 7 quite easily once more. It even closer to the Champions League, possibly with only one game a week. But it would have been nice to say, do you know what? Our squad is good. We've kept Bruno, tick. We've kept Isak, tick. We've kept Gordon, brilliant. That's probably the best piece of business we've done all winter. But it would be nice to go, do you know what? Our first 11 is good. But look at our right winger now. We've got a proper right winger.
When you're sat in the dressing room, when you're sat in the dressing room as a player, and a new player walks in, what does that do for you? You get a new player walks in that dressing room. He uplifts the room.
And what it also does,
want to play. He wants players to be better than what they were before.
It's healthy competition.
In that dressing room now, when you've got nobody coming in the door, what's that going to do?
It's healthy competition as well. So exactly. If someone walks in,
it's just it uplifts them, doesn't it? It makes them play better.
Yeah, like someone's taking my role. I'm not having that. It's like that's competition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like Joe all the time trying to take my role, isn't it? He's listening now, isn't he? He's listening now, isn't he?
I'm listening all the time, but just to give everyone a heads up, my eyes are down here. They are up there. Well, my eyes aren't down here anymore because both my phones are now black screen. There's no point having it open.
It's
actually really depressing on NUFC Twitter. And I've got the Sky Sports News up there, and I'm just...
Big time Charlie with 2 screens and 2 mobiles.
and my pizza on the right. Come on. I'm really can't stress enough how disappointed I am in this transfer window. Like, does anyone in the right mind genuinely believe? I get what we're saying about what Eddie Howe can do with a player, but does anyone in the right mind genuinely believe that Oslar's going to come in and be a like for like replacement for Isak?
He's not for now.
Give you something. I was watching on today on Sky Sports News, and it was Curtis Davis, remember, from the defender.
Derby, aye.
Apparently, he's actually played with Osula, and he described him as the poor man's Haaland. That's what he described him as.
Look, he hasn't even kicked a ball in 3 games, so that tells you. I don't think he's ready. He's not ready for now. I think if there's an injury, like I think he'll play in the Wimbledon Cup game.
Can you remember, Lee, when we were saying we needed, as a third choice on the bench for a striker, we needed either a young lad or we needed somebody near the end of his career that was happy to sit on the bench and just take his time. We've got that, and to spend 10 million on that, I'm happy with it, because he's only gonna get what 20% of the season this season.
I want to put in there. There's a great comment that's come in. I'll let you answer this, Dave. From Trickster says, "We're all delusional. Can't you see what's happening? Things are changing at the club."
How are we delusional?
I think he's saying basically that I think Eddie's going to be out the door.
The thing that worries me about Eddie Howe is I don't think the club are wanting to be rid of him, but yet again, the project, Eddie Howe, England's still there.
It is still it. Question.
I don't think the club will want rid of him as in sacking him or firing him. But if he's not getting the backing that he wants, or he's not feeling that he's valued as what he is, could he walk?
I think he wouldn't if the England job wasn't there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at.
Yep.
I don't think the club's looking to sack him. I've seen all them conspiracy shit and all the rest of it about, the club are saving the money because they want him to fail. That's a load of crap. Because if you want somebody to fail, that's a bad advert on you. It's not a bad advert on him.
So Yasser Al-Rumayyan is allegedly meant to be at this weekend's game. I'll come to you, Joe, on this. Surely he's got to be asking the question, why the fuck have you not strengthened? Where's, because he doesn't want to sit around and be hovering around 6th or 7th again this season. The Saudis have come and said, I'm going to be number 1. And a couple of people have said in the comments that they're ruthless. Yes, they're ruthless. So where's the signings? Surely he's going to come in and bollocks a few people over this weekend.
I think there is definitely a big meeting happening either before or after that game, depending on the result. Maybe it's going to be they're going to wait till after the game, so they've got the result and they can have factor that into it. But I think there's definitely a big meeting coming where
what went wrong? What went wrong?
Yeah, why haven't we chased enough? Why haven't we had, like people have said there, why is there not 1, 2, 3 choices? If there is, why haven't we chased them? And by the time we get to the second and third choices, why aren't we chasing 4 and 5? Also, why have we signed 2? Because on paper, signing Ruddy and Vladimir, it's redundant investments. So they're going to be questioning stuff like that. There's going to be a lot to question. Like you touched upon there, they're a business model, and at the end of the day, they're looking at profit. And yeah, I get it. They've made a bit of profit, a little bit. But guys, this is Saudi Arabia what we're talking about. They don't deal in small profits. They've made maybe it's 8 million, I think. Maybe it was a deficit I was looking at earlier. Yeah, we've made £8 million profit this window. Wow, cool. That's not enough. They want more. They want success. And they know that they get that from genuine investments that are going to make returns. And why is that not coming? I can't see a major return of investment from anyone except Osala, really, because Osala, like people have said, in 8 years, when he's 28, 29, he's probably going to be this unbelievable player who's wicked, and we might make loads of profit off him, mint. But right now, impact, it's not there. And I just feel like this season, with this window, they're going to look at it like, look, we've made progression the last 2 seasons. We've got ourselves into new places. Where we're going here, because it feels like we're kind of running around in the circle again, and these are just okay with the same.
It feels like we're stagnant.
Yeah,
I feel that the Vlachodimos one. Well, it's not. I don't feel it's fact. We signed him, so we don't have a point reduction. Something like that.
Yeah,
that was done so Anderson goes the other way, so we can get net profit from a youngster. And I said this earlier on in a couple of streams. PSR needs looked at because you've seen clubs up and down the country. Conor Gallagher, Shalaba, Man United just got rid of Scott Tominator today. The bank and profit money. Newcastle had to do it with Anderson to avoid PSR. And it's bonkers that we've had to sign this Greek international. You never know. You might come a good second choice, but it doesn't look like Dubravka's heading out. You've got John Ruddy. I question the John Ruddy one because that's a weird one because you've already got Mark Gillespie. The Lloyd Kelly one, one's probably the best out of those 4 I had on screen because it's a free.
For instant impact, he is. I would say for instant impact, Lloyd Kelly's going to be good.
Sorry,
the
Dave,
Lloyd Kelly one is the understandable one in my eyes. You can understand why.
That's Eddie Howe signing.
Yeah, you can understand why. He's a free. He's 24-year-old and he's a left-sided centre-back.
On big money, though.
He's now pushing on Blessing with his age. So you can kind of understand the Lloyd Kelly one. The others, I do kind of get the Oselu one because we do need a third choice. Callum's not consistent. Isaac can get an injury every now and again. So we do need somebody. So I kind of get the Oselu one. And for 10 million, I'm not grumbling at that. But when it comes to the transfer window, we've already spent £10 million. That's a bit off. in my eyes. It just doesn't seem real.
Yeah, because even Lewis Hall was done technically. The deal was done
Yeah.
last summer, even though we paid it this summer. But
Yeah.
it's not great when you look at those four lads. And I don't want to be disrespectful because I think Lloyd Kelly will probably play a lot of games this season. He's the only one really. Asula will probably get the odd sub and maybe a cup game. Apart from that, I don't put it past me saying this that Asula gets a loan in January because he's not playing. To gain his
depends on the Callum Wilson thing, I think. Callum Wilson is injured during the January window. I think Asula stays.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And odds on he will be.
I wanted to show a couple of clips. I had Hippie on earlier on this about 40 seconds long. His thoughts. He asked me, "Is this the worst transfer window ever?"
A worse window than under Ashley.
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of no, I wouldn't go that far, but I think it feels negative though, doesn't it? It's not like wow, we're looking forward to the season. Look who we've signed. You know what I mean? Whereas I think one summer we signed a loan player under Ashley. I think another summer we only signed Vernon and Anita for like 3.5, 4 million.
But expectation wise, under Ashley, we didn't expect much. No, now we're sort of expecting a little bit more, and it's almost there. We're just
it feels a bit. It does feel a bit. So that player was Lloyd Kelly, if you remember. That's what I was trying to think of. That somehow we only brought him in alone. That's it. We didn't send anyone else.
Yeah.
It's. I don't think it's on the verge of quite like Ashley, but it feels very.
Do you know what it feels like to me?
Has he got a good point about the expectations? Because we're expecting more now because we're in a higher position in the league we've developed. Because if this was under Ashley, we'll be happy with those four. I'm not lying to you. We would be, wouldn't we?
Can you remember the Alan Pardew era where we qualified for Europe in 5th place when Ashley did actually invest?
I think we only signed Anita.
We brought Denver Bar and we brought Kabay in and we finished 5th.
Oh, the season before, yes.
Yeah. And then we finished 17th the season after because Ashley, I think he brought a low. I think he brought Anita in, didn't he?
Vernon and Anita, and then I think he brought in Gail Bigger Romana later on.
Yeah, then there was Kennedy as well, wasn't there? But it feels a bit like that. You know, once we had that success of 5th with Pardew, then there was no investment at all during the summer, and then we finished 17th. I'm not saying we're going to finish 17th, but this transfer window's got a bit of a feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, when we got that success, we want to push on. We want to kind of grow on that. And then we had to tuck away because there was no investment. That, to me, feels a bit like that.
Joe, this is the first time, really, that the board have had major negativity, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. On such a grand scale, there's been other little issues over the past couple of years. Yeah, fair enough. But this is on a major grand scale where everyone's unhappy. Everyone's online venting their frustrations. Everyone's sitting there going, well, Palace have done great. What are we doing? Like knocking on the door. And the owners, at the end of the day, it's tried and tested in football. Everyone's going to look at the owners and go, what are you doing? And they've got to come out and they've got to answer. Someone said in a comment before, I can't remember who it was, said, be prepared for tomorrow when Newcastle come out and give all these excuses of why we couldn't sign
They should be coming out and explaining it, or shouldn't they?
They should. We know what's happened. There'll be a club statement. I wonder if they're actually on there as a person giving out the reason.
That's probably what they've spent the last couple of hours doing, is writing out the club statement. I shouldn't say that because I've still got all the faith in the club. I think what we also need to take solace in, almost flip reversing from earlier, but is the squad that we've got right now. You look back with the Ashley days, you look back at the Ashley era, and you look at that and you look and think, well, the squad was always lacking somewhere. I always remember watching and having an absolutely terrible defence. You know, like
Mike Williamson.
Well, yeah, do you know what I mean? Mike Williamson, the likes of him, like, come on. And like, yeah, don't get us wrong, we've had Colaccini's and that in with time, yes, but one man can't run a whole defensive block. Of course they can't. Now, you look at that defence. Andy was saying it in the WhatsApp earlier about how he'll be half cut now on his holiday. Saying how we've got a great defence. It's probably, in my lifetime personally, it's one of the best defences I've seen at Newcastle, maybe barring the entertainers. Our midfield is stacked. We've got so many good midfielders. And then with forwards, I disagree on the forwards. I think we should have got rid of Wilson, but I'll not rant too much. So The owners are probably going to rely on that, I think. When a club statement comes out, they're going to probably rely on the fact of we're investing in the squad that we have now and relying on the investments that we've already made and such and that, and buttering up Isak and buttering up Bruno, you know. I don't know. It's going to be a weird 24.
I was getting a text message there. Philip Albert's been seen landing in Newcastle Airport.
Right, needs to lose a little bit of weight, like if he wants to play again. Like, he's a kind big bloke now. Like,
what's Nobby Solano doing right now? I can't talk to my Shields people. I'll get him on the line.
He's a free agent. Nobby, do you want to get him right wing? We've got a player for you. Nobby, you can replace Miguel Miran on that right side. Got any pace, but I bet he can still deliver.
Let's bring Robert back.
Yeah.
Please.
Imagine, man. So everybody in the comments as well, thank you for Junior for donating. I seen that just before. Thank you very much, Junior. If you want to ask us a question, we'll keep an eye on your comments. We'll answer that for you as well. So thank you for that. Whilst we'll wait for Junior's question, if he does want to send one in, Jay was on earlier and I asked him who's got the blame for the lack of transfers, and this is what he said. Yeah.
I hold Darren Eales accountable, right? It's on the paper. It's what he signed up for. That's a sort of basic statement.
Can I just jump in as well? Because you know Darren Eales a lot better than a lot of Newcastle fans because of the whole Atlanta situation.
I've shaken his hand a few times. That doesn't mean I know him. Let's be clear.
Well, even Steve's met him a couple of times, and you think Steve's a bit out there. But Darren, why is it all Darren Eales then? Does Paul Mitchell need a little bit of blame there?
Of course, it goes around, but the accountability is with Darren. It's his job. He's part of hiring Mitchell, right, for all those pieces. And his input would be required, especially with a new hire. Now, Mitchell's experience, you know, it looks too soon. It is. It's just that it can't be 100% him, right? That's usually not how the new hire situations work, in my experience professionally. Darren's accountable. Mitchell is responsible. Mitchell has responsibility, right, to deliver these players. Eddie has responsibility. I don't know what the ins and outs are, right? And I realize he is such a good manager of players, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's on the pitch all the time. But ultimately, the communication loop, Eddie has responsibility. The communication loop from Eddie to Mitchell, and just so he only got here a few months ago. I don't care, right? That's not relevant. We're about results around here, and ultimately, the person who is accountable for the performance of the club is Darren Eales.
Interesting there then. So he's putting the blame at Darren Eales. When we had Jay on earlier, I've seen a few comments saying it's Eddie Howe as well. I disagree on the Eddie Howe stuff. I don't, because he's the manager. He's not the guy who's in charge of finances.
No.
And I think Paul Mitchell, and it's interesting that he said that accountability, that's Darren Eales' responsibility, is of course Paul Mitchell. So they're both hand in hand. And obviously, Dave, you mentioned he's very good with his wording to understand it. And you've got to look at the point the finger a little bit at our CEO. You have to, surely.
Of course, you've got to. If you're in a business for producing something and that's not getting produced to the best quality, who do you blame? It's got to be the owner. It's got to be the CEO. It's got to be that, because they're not making it happen.
I blame Sam.
I blame Sam.
Johnny.
Johnny just comes on camera. Doesn't do the graph like me and Jody.
No, he doesn't.
But you mentioned the CEO stuff as well, the accountability stuff. What happens now then? Because he's come out and he's been this like fan favorite. Do you want to call him a fan favorite? You know, he was singing, as I say, a couple of weeks ago, and you know he's a likable guy. Joe, I'll ask Joe this: do you think that might the dynamics? Someone's already mentioned in the comments that the dynamics might change a little bit now with how fans feel towards them.
So I think when you say that about him being a fan favourite, I wouldn't quite say fan favourite. I think Amanda and Murdad were fan favourites, and maybe even Jamie Rubin. However, when it comes to Darren Eales, you kind of, the way I looked at him in any ways, he kind of felt like this guy who came in and was sort of, you know, when you've sort of got a group at a party, and then someone else comes over and they kind of fit with the people, but you can also tell they're not an original member of the group. Yeah. Like, that's how it feels with me. It's kind of like me at NFTV. No. But it's literally like he's there, and he came along and he sort of joined on the side, and everyone's like, oh, he looks fun, he looks cool. But when it comes down to it, again, I said it earlier, he's a CEO. He's not a fun, cool guy who who represents the city. He's not this guy who you want to see at the Stack dancing and partying. No, you want to see this guy coming out of a boardroom with his suit on, going, right, lads, lasses, this is the business that we've done. He's not hitting that role for me.
Do you think because of the success he had in America, with the way he was in America, with the fan base and what he did for Atlanta, do you think it's because football in this country is a lot different than America? We're a lot more passionate about it. We're a lot more.
And I've just got to read out Junior's. I've just got to read out Junior's comment before it goes. And I did say we'll answer his comment. The man on the left, I think that's Joe, looks like he loves Elf bars and Monster Energy.
I don't drink Monster anymore. However, I work as a barista and I do like me coffee.
Cappuccino.
But yeah, cappuccino. Yeah. So.
Kieran, thank you very much for your donation. If you want to answer a question before we wrap up, please do. We'll probably wrap up in the next 5 minutes or so. But feels like Amanda hard work is undone. So Kieran, if you want to fire another question over, I'll get one of the lads to answer it. But
are we making more of this because it's the first blip that we've had since the takeover?
It's a major blip, though, isn't it? It's not like a put it under the carpet, is it? Because
I know, but are we making more of? I'm just being devil's advocate here. Are we making more of it because it's the first blip? No, it's the first time that we've had a bit of a
game of roulette now. It's a game of roulette now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is it like, because to be fair, since they've took over, we haven't really had that dip, have we? We've kind of gone okay. We've kind of gone up the hill and we're okay. We've kind of stumbled a little bit at the moment. Is it that's making us all a bit miffed, or is it just that's what it is?
I'll let you answer that.
I personally think, yes. It's because it's a first major blip, and the blip being every transfer window since we got taken over, we've done at least some respectable business. Now we're in the biggest, most lucrative transfer window of the football season, and here we are with not much to show for it at all.
Yeah.
So I think that is why it feels a lot harder, and we know how important this part of football can be, this transfer window. One signing can change your season. Kieran Trippier, Bruno Guimaraes, we've got them there. So I do feel like that's what makes it feel worse. And say by this time December, we're sitting 6th, and we've got a victory over Manchester United and another solid draw with Man City, with maybe Lloyd Kelly scoring the final equaliser. We're all going to be sitting here looking back at this stream, and we're going to be getting clipped up for some of the stuff we said, like, look at these idiots back in August. Look at what they said on deadline day.
But we live in the moment. We don't live like... It's like we live in the moment. That's about football. It is like, as you say,
in the moment.
On Sunday, we all might be, what a game. It'll be completely the other way. We live in that moment. We only live in that moment for that bubble for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, depending on when your next game is. But I think that they're playing Russian roulette now, the owners, because now it's a case of you're risking Eddie Howe hoping to keep Newcastle in and around 4th, 5th, 6th come January, and then go and splash the cash because they're going to have to. If they're serious about wanting Champions League, because Champions League...
It's a big risk though, isn't it?
They're playing roulette because they can go down to 5th place, the Champions League, depending on how well the European clubs do.
I know, but if you're stacking all your cards on, well, we will finish 5th or 6th by January. That's it for the Premier League. That's a massive, massive risk. You have two games where it doesn't go your way, and you lose them 2 games. That bad form creeps in. That 5th or 6th in January is now 10th or 11th.
Because we live in the moment, I'll go back to that as well, Dave. As soon as a bad run of results happening, the finger will be pointed at Eddie, but also this time around now, there'll be more fingers pointing towards Darren Neils and Paul Mitchell. Because last season, if you remember, we had a really bad run. And I'm sure it was like January, late January. And I was saying on video last word and all that, no, stick with it. Stick with Eddie Howe, stick with it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of people saying Eddie Howe and all this, like crazy people. And then we went on that run. As soon as we have a bad run, I don't think they'll just be on, right, it's Eddie's fault. Now fans will say, do you know what? Where's the right winger? Where's the centre back or whatever? I don't think they'll be all Eddie now.
Finger pointed because there are people out there that kind of, as we know, Newcastle fans, as in such, I don't like to go into this, but there are some out there that are quite negative with this. So if we do get that bad run of form, there is going to be a lot of finger pointing at Eddie by the certain group of supporters that are going to point at him. They're not going to think, well, the board should have bought this, the board should have bought that. It's going to be Eddie's fault. because Eddie puts a team out on the pitch every week, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
He's going to get the blame regardless of what happens.
I do want to come to what Eddie Howe actually said, and probably leaves us on the stream on a really good note here. Joe, man, stop taking all the limelight, man. What are you?
Oh God!
Taking all the limelight. This is about fans staying united, which is maybe a great message.
Yeah, I like this.
About that. So he says, I understand the fans' frustration over the transfer window. We're all in it together. We need one united cause, and that's a cause against everyone that we're playing. What we can't do is tear ourselves apart. We're a formidable force when united. No one is saying we don't want to support that. We do, all together. We've got to go and find the right solutions, but they have to be the right solutions. The worst thing is to bring in the wrong players. So I think what he's trying to say there is, look, it's been a really bad window. And I think Eddie Howe is being really nice because he could quite easily...
He's trying to be politically correct in a way.
Yeah, he's trying not to
say we need to be united, which he knows we're going to be anywhere. But then to say that we need the right players in the right positions, I think that's where he's trying to be both.
I think it depends on your personality, because Mourinho, for example, Mourinho will call the board out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep. I think with that, he's trying to keep the board on side because he's saying we need the right players for the right positions, which is obvious. But is that going to be an excuse of why we didn't buy anybody? Because we didn't have the right players in the right positions.
Whereas, if I remember, the last manager I get to call the board out was Conte, and he got sacked because of it, because the way he went up. But he was telling the truth. That Spurs never win out.
Yeah, but Eddie's well known for his press conferences, and he's very cryptic but very front.
He's quite reserved. I think he's also quite polite as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he carries that on. I watched him with his thing with Jason Tyndall, and he's very much the same in just casual passing. Like every answer is almost media trained.
It's how you want Darren Eales to be.
Well, it's. I think everyone, even the women's team, they're all PR trained now. You know, it's very rare you catch them out nowadays. So, and obviously they're signing players without any bother. So it's only say women that are doing the business at the minute. So big season with them. Obviously next week when the season starts, me and Dave will be doing London town.
We're already booked hotels and everything.
I'm flying. Poor Joe has to miss out on that one. But
we're going down to Stoke on the Friday, staying in Stoke on the Friday, then travelling down on the Saturday and come back Monday.
But can we try and end it on any positive? What's the positives out of this?
Hold on. Straight away, one positive, right? And I hate to call this out, right? But Ricardo Voss, lads, we've ballsed 3 transfer windows in a row. We were already playing catch up. At least trips are still here, mind. We've balled 3 transfer windows up in a row. That is bollocks. We said this towards the start of this.
That is absolute not
towards the start of this, I said one thing we can look at, and all we've agreed to this, one thing you can look at is that we have a team of about 14 to 15 players who are worthy and have already proven they can get us into a Champions League position. So if I was to sit here in months and months time at the end of the season, go, yep, we scraped Europa with this squad and we've signed no one really substantial, I'm buzzing off me nut. It goes back to that living in the moment thing. So as much as I love to say that this transfer window has me annoyed, I will never say that we have had 3 or 4 transfer windows that we've ballsed up. The only transfer window that we've had an issue was this one, and there's still plenty to fight for in this season with the squad that's there.
On your point, Joe, if we ballsed up every fucking transfer window in the last 3, how do we go from relegation when Eddie Howe took over to being safe in that one transfer window? Changed all that? No, the likes of Trippier, Bruno. I know Chris Wood was one of them where you can't go okay, but that group of signings got us out the relegation. I mean, we only won 1 game out the whole freaking season. So to say that we've ballsed up every transfer window, it's a lot of shite.
Right, it's not. It's
a lot of shite. It's a lot of crap. I'm sorry for it is.
It's been a very difficult window. Is there any positivity that comes out with this?
The only positives I can come out with is we've still kept the 3 big guys.
Because we all worried about Bruno's release clause, weren't we, in late June, wherever it was. So we've kept them. And obviously the squad is, as I still feel, the touch and wood, that there's no injuries or major injuries. If we can deal with 4 or 5 injuries, that's fine. I think the squad can cope with that. But if it gets into double figures, we can't. Let's now that the transfer window's done, before we wrap up, Joe, with this squad now, because now it's shut now, where are we realistically going to finish?
I think we're finishing inside the top 10. I'm going to nail down a position. You know I love for people to clip us up and take the mick out of us later. I think Newcastle have the ability with this squad, staying fit, 8th or 7th. 8th or 7th.
Despite no European football?
Yeah, I don't think I'm factoring in possible injuries, possible drops in form, certain people not having certain purple patches again. I'm looking at that and thinking we're going to start seeing some of our players really be stretched. Trippier, love what he's done for the club, but you're starting to see his legs go. We're going to start seeing some weaknesses in our current squad. And I just think that's what's going to not let we get into the Champions League sort of places. I think we'll fight for it at some point, yes. But I think towards the back end of that season, we might take a couple of losses that'll really affect us because of certain players being injured. I mean, when Glass Wilson does his ankle at some point during this season, we're going to be relying on Isak for a while, almost by himself. That's going to take a toll on him. Towards the end of the season, I think we will struggle a little bit if we don't manage to bring anything substantial in January. As it stands right now, 7th to 8th.
With George, Lorraine agrees with you.
Love you, Lorraine.
Lorraine's just said 7th as well.
Yeah,
I think we'll finish 5th. Go on, Lee, lad. Go on, Lee. I said on the overlap. I kind of changed my mind because it's clipped up. I think. Let me try and be positive. I think the fact that we don't have European football is going to help us. And I think, touch wood, again, with 4 or 5 injuries, I think we're fine. I think if it gets more than that, I think that's where we'll struggle. Considering our squad were ripped apart with injuries and Champions League football and 2 cup runs to the quarterfinals, we got a 7th. And 19 out of 20 seasons, that gets European football. It's only because of technicality Man United won the FA Cup. So with that said, I'm going to go in 5th. Go on, Lee, lads. I'll be positive. Come on. Even though it's been a shit transfer window, it has, let's be honest, it's utter wank. I just think that because we don't have any European football, I'm hanging my hat on that.
Well, I think it's possible, definitely.
Go on, Dave, be negative. Go on.
Well, I think we're fighting relegation, I do.
Yeah? Well, Lee, you've got my hat next year. Because I do think 5th as well.
Yes, I thought you were going to be negative.
Only where he is, the clubs around us have strengthened.
Yes.
So the likes of West Ham, the likes of Aston Villa. But I do believe with this squad, we have enough. Yes, if we get 4 or 5 injuries, it just depends where the 4 or 5 injuries are. If we get, like, say, 3 in the centre midfield and we get 1 right wing and a defender, I think then we could struggle a little bit. But I still think we've got enough for 5th. I do. I believe in this squad. I think we are strong enough. We've had a weird start to the season, yes, but we're undefeated. Look at it that way. We haven't been beaten yet. I know we haven't played some good teams, but we're still undefeated. I think we've got enough to finish 5th. I do. Aston Villa, I think, are going to have a big hit this year with the Champions League. I think that's going to hit them like it did with us last year. So, Lee, I'm with you. I think 5th. I strongly believe in 5th.
Joe's got the giggles.
Lee, did you know what I was laughing at there?
Yeah, there is. A couple of our NFTV lads are in the live chat as well. So they're taking the mickey. I'm not reading some of their names out either because they're a little bit sweary. But yeah, 7th, 8th, 5th and 5th for me and Dave. Look, it's been an awful transfer window. But hopefully you have like the 3 videos that we've done today. We've gone to Australia, we've gone to America, and I thought the last one we've got to wrap up and do a longer one with 2 local lads. So, yeah, we're wrapping up. So I think Sam's going to do a little retouch tomorrow with his video on there as well, and then we'll switch the focus to, of course, Spurs, which will have the last word and a reaction from there. And then next weekend, we've got the women's as well, when Wels's international break. Me and Dave will be in London, so there's still loads of match content. We're the only channel to be at every single men's and women's game. No one else does it. So,
and may I just add to that as well? We are the only channel who follow a Northern League team as well. I do cover North Shields Football Club in the ABAC Northern League. So tune in because that's some different footage as well. That is some good stuff over on NFTV Extra.
Yeah, you can find that on NFTV Extra. But that's a wrap for Dave. Thank you for coming on in particular. And, of course, Joe, as ever. We'll bring in the women's podcast back as well, probably before the women's game as well. But Joe, what you doing? You want to do something there?
This begs to trust this.
Wait a minute.
I'm happy I can't see it.
And we'll end it there.